Well, Cowboys fans, seems like it's our turn to get our free agency period in. It's Mike McCarthy, and today's news press conference let us know the Cowboys are not done yet as it pertains to making moves. Let's get right into it, and be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content on the regular. All right, Big Mike said today the Cowboys have 86 players on their 90-man roster. Coach Mike McCarthy said he met extensively this morning with VP of Player Personnel Will McClay. The team is far from done on player acquisition front, with multiple moves poised to come by training camp. Just for reference, last year the Cowboys training camp began on July 26th and lasted roughly until about August 15th. So we're going to see more bodies being added to this roster by the time the end of July rolls around. But the question is going to be, who are these potential bodies? I think the most obvious need remaining for the Cowboys still is going to be the defensive tackle position, especially with the news that Mazi Smith is still rehabbing from shoulder surgery. So I'm gonna be the first to say it, man. We cannot depend on Mazi Smith to be our starting defensive tackle and think that it is not going to be a problem area. I've had a ton of confidence in Mazi Smith. I've been hoping that with the addition of Mike Zimmer that we will get more out of our first round draft pick from last season, but him coming off of shoulder surgery, still being a part of the rehab group, I'm losing confidence by the day, and I think defensive tackle is 100% going to be the position the Cowboys are looking to fill and to kind of fill some more gaps on that roster. If we look at the available defensive tackles left in the league right now, we can go by age. The youngest guy you're going to be looking at is someone like a Hassan Ridgeway, as it pertains to an actual name that Cowboy fans may be familiar with. Hassan Ridgeway is a defensive tackle that is still remaining. He's 29 and a half years old. In the previous value of his deal was about $3 million. So chances are we could probably end up signing this dude from anywhere between $1.5 to $2.5 million for a singular season. And this would give us some more defensive tackle depth as well. We also have a guy like Linval Joseph still out there. Now, the reason I'm not as on board with like a Linval Joseph coming in, or maybe even a Calais Campbell, is it kind of gets scary when you start getting these dudes that are like in their late 30s, okay? I get it. You want veteran presences on the team. You want guys who understand exactly what their role is and what they can provide to a team, but at the same time, 36 years old or a 37-year-old type of Linval Joseph Calais Campbell pickup. I think Calais Campbell would be good just from a locker room perspective, but as far as what to expect from him on the field, personally, I think it's going to be slightly difficult to project out exactly what these guys are going to end up being. So those would be some of the options at that defensive tackle position. There's also a guy like a Carl Lawson as far as another defensive lineman that's available that's in a respectable age range. He's 29 years old, or going to be 20 by the time the season starts, essentially. Yannick Ngakoue would be another defensive lineman to add to the team. And then obviously we discussed Calais Campbell as well. He's going to be 38 years old this year though. All right, so there are a few players left that the Cowboys could potentially add to their defensive line just for the purpose of adding some more depth. But I think that if we see more players get added, it's more than likely going to be at that position, or maybe even like a wide receiver or something. But yeah, this is a good sign for me, because at this point, I just want the Cowboys to field the best 52-man roster possible. So get more bodies in there to compete for positions, get people in there that's going to help kind of reinforce the culture that you're trying to build, and I think you're on the right track. Speaking of getting people to reinforce the culture you're trying to build, Luke Schoonmaker, I think I'm ready to say that this pick was a flop. This was a terrible second-round pick by the Dallas Cowboys. He missed his entire 2023 rookie spring with a foot injury. Now he has a hamstring injury, and he's expected to be sidelined throughout OTAs. I'm going to say this right now, man. We have Brevin Spanford in here now. We have John Stevens Jr. coming back, and obviously Jake Ferguson is the incumbent starter at that tight end position. Luke Schoonmaker is 100% in danger of losing his spot on this roster. I would not be surprised at all if Luke Schoonmaker's name pops up as one of those guys that's cut in the offseason for the Dallas Cowboys, especially since they spent the most money out of anybody on undrafted free agents to bring in the Minnesota tight end Brevin Spanford. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Brevin take that tight end 3 position this offseason. We'll probably see John Stevens move into that tight end 2, and then obviously Jake Ferguson at that tight end 1 position. But Luke Schoonmaker, that pick is looking worse and worse by the day. Speaking of John Stevens Jr., along with 2 other guys on the Cowboys rosters recovering from ACL injuries with Trevon Diggs and DeMarvion Overshown, all 3 players are looking good according to Mike McCarthy. He feels like all 3 players could be ready to participate in training camp. All right, so this is a very good sign. John Stevens Jr. was a tight end last year that a lot of people thought was going to make an impact on the actual 52-man roster for the Dallas Cowboys, a 53-man roster, how many men it is now. And obviously, Trevon Diggs, our best corner, DeMarvion Overshown is probably going to play a large bulk of the snaps at that linebacker position. So all 3 of our guys that are recovering from injuries, everything is on point with them, and they are looking good, and they're expected to be back to the team. I would be very surprised if any of these dudes missed a single game this season based off of that ACL injury that they had last season. But yeah, overall, exciting stuff here. Expect to see some more news drop from the Dallas Cowboys, including news about the upcoming contracts that we're waiting on the Cowboys to finish signing. Now, me personally, I think that we may end up seeing these contracts get signed post those June 1st cuts. Whenever that Michael Gallup cut is made officially and we get the cap relief from that particular move, I think that's when we see some of these moves for the Cowboys start to get made. But either way, let me know what you think about all this news down in the comments below. Again, be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content. I'll see you guys on the next one. We still same old Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.